Trevin Hutchins from Palette. He's the bar director of Palette, which is a great bar in Soma, San Francisco. So we're going to chat about, a role of a bar director, and more importantly, he's been creating some exotic spirits, cocktails. Just we'll pick his brain on how to elevate guest experience, which I think he's really been doing, in his career. So, Trevin, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Why don't you give us a little, introduction about yourself and just a backstory about how you ended up in bartending?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up in the industry, so my family owned restaurants as a kid, so nice. I kind of didn't have a choice in a way. But I went to college and was originally going to school for nursing, and was bartending through college, and then decided that I actually wanted to stay with it, and worked in Las Vegas, and I was really fortunate to have a great mentor there.
Nice.
And then found my way back east to Maine, where I ran a couple programs there. And then was looking for, a bigger city, and found myself in San Francisco, which has been awesome so far.
Nice, and that means what, like how many years? About 10 years at least?
Yeah, it's been about a decade for bartending. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's I've heard it's tough, right? Like,
it is.
Like meaning standing on the feet and all that?
Yeah, it's physical, it's mental, there's everything's really involved with bartending. But the great part about it is it's extremely creative, which I definitely
which
love.
you like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think right now you are in a role of a bar, I guess, manager.
Yeah,
right?
it's similar. So the bar director role is a little bit more, overseeing the program and kind of bigger picture. So creating events, with the restaurant to the bar, and then. We are adding some new cocktail lounge, so we're opening that this year, which is really exciting, and then we're opening another restaurant. So
nice.
It's a little bit, having your hands in kind of like different
so
areas.
If you had to define your KPIs, like clearly, this is your role, what all do you have to do in your role?
I mean, it's hospitality, and especially.
But let's say, creating a menu is your responsibility.
Yeah,
Purchasing
absolutely.
is yours as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
staff training.
Yeah. It's all there.
What about the bar deco and all that is yours as well?
Yeah.
Okay, and coming up with cocktails and...
It's all,
And sales responsibility for your bar?
Yeah, so, a little bit of everything. I think, especially now in this sort of like time in hospitality, we're having to be really versatile. So, this role is a little bit of everything. So it's multiple hats, it's GM, it's doing, a little bit of everything at this time.
So let's go on, creating a nice, profitable bar menu, right? What are some learnings that you've seen that, okay, if you, add this many spirits, or if you position it this way, or maybe whatever, there are some hacks, right? Science behind creating so any tips there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about creating balance on a menu. So it's having something for everyone.
Okay.
So that means, you have a approachable, fun vodka cocktail on your menu that, will please a lot of different people. And then you also work in a few more like complex or like bitter cocktails that are more like driven to like industry or like bartenders. So it's about creating balance, but always keeping in mind that the menu's not about you, the person creating it, it's about the guest. And so making sure that, you're doing something that's exciting that they haven't seen, and maybe you're using a new technique or new ingredient, but it's, making sure that it's done in a way that's approachable and, exciting.
How do you find gaps, right? Let's say, over the period of 6 months, you had your first new restaurant open and you have this bar cocktail menu, and then how are you listening that, some guests are saying, okay, can I get this, whatever, let's say gin flavored, it's a common example I'm using, but let's say if it's not there, how is that feedback being passed to you, and then how are you changing your menu?
Yeah, so you kind of, you're always learning what guests are looking for. When a guest comes to your bar, and they're like, make me a cocktail, it starts with questions first. So it's, what kind of cocktails do you typically like? What spirits are you drawn to? Do you like more like refreshing drinks or more like spirit forward drinks? And you're essentially just kind of narrowing down, what, would fit there.
But ultimately you would want an answer in your list. Right,
ultimately, yeah, you want to steer them towards the list, because
goal of a list.
Yeah, there's a lot of time, thought, energy that goes into creating a cocktail menu, and so you really want to show that off. But we work with a massive, kind of canon of different kind of cocktails, classic cocktails, and there's always something for everyone, I feel.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's in the pricing and the profit sort of area, right? What kind of cocktails you suggest are like really common and good profit contributors versus some are like just volume which you have to keep, but it's not really a great profit maker?
Yeah, I mean, rum is always going to be a great one. The market I don't think has really caught up in pricing, for rum. So rum-based cocktails are always great because, rums are a little bit, less expensive than, say like whiskeys. And there's incredible like quality rums out there for, really great pricing.
Got it. And what about the planning of the book actually, right? Any suggestions there that can be max like 6 pages or 16, or what have you seen working, the size, the layout?
For the cocktail menu? Yeah. So, right now at Palette, we have a menu of 24 cocktails, so pretty big menu. It's, the space is more of a fine dining restaurant, but we're also, featuring, spirits. We're really lucky we have a rotary evaporator, so we actually make our own distillates in-house, our own spirits, which is really fun. But for cocktail menu size, I think 12 is a really great starting point. And then if you see a lot of popularity in your menu, then you can always grow it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And anything that goes to staff education on how you would want to roll out, how you would want to coach them?
Yeah, we do larger trainings every month.
What do they include?
So tastings.
Okay. Of new products? Or
of new products, and we also do cocktail presentations every month. So any cocktails that the bar team has been working on, they present it at the meeting.
Okay, nice.
And then we can all kind of
you give
talk
everyone
about
a
it.
task, like come up with some ideas, and then all right.
It's really fun because then to get on the menu, it's sort of everyone has had their input, and things are always better when there's more people tasting them and more people talking about them, and because everyone has a different perspective. So
then, do you guys also talk about like how to approach customer or bad experiences, good experiences, how to learn from each other?
Always, yeah, and it's always different because no interaction is really the same with every guest. So it's that's sort of part of the fun, I guess, of working in hospitality is that it's always kind of different, but it's also the challenge of it.
I've read in your profile, you wrote that you're great in elevating experiences, right? So that's also one of the jobs that you have sometimes. How do you elevate customer experience with your, let's say, cocktail, angle?
Well, the menu itself, obviously, like I said, has like a lot of thought and time in it. But I can kind of give you an example of actually something this week. And it's not necessarily menu related, but we had a guest called in, and she'd dined with us before. And a friend of hers was coming in for their birthday, and she wanted to have flowers brought in for them. Our florist is there once a week. He's amazing, incredibly talented, but wouldn't be able to do it the next day. So elevating the experience is making sure that you can create or do something for this guest that they're looking for. So I went down to Union Square, and it's like one of the florists there, and got a flower arrangement. So it's about kind of going above and beyond for the guests, and the menu's there, and that's your tool, and to create an experience, but it's always going beyond that.
Have you noticed any tips you have for like 3 or 4 things that you always do to sort of give that extra commitment to your guest?
It's really simple, honestly. It's super simple. It's just being friendly, welcoming, being quick to greet people, I think is really important, because otherwise people feel like you don't see them. So anytime like someone just is like pretty close, like within like 5 feet, you're saying hello. And it's just a small thing, but it really makes a difference in creating an experience for guests.
Cool. Any just closing remarks for any other tips you may have for other young bartenders out there?
Yeah, starting somewhere, starting bar backing somewhere is the best way to start. You have to in this industry. It seems like people really want to be bartending immediately, and
Yeah.
it's takes a lot of time. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years, and I still feel like I have so much to learn.
What do you like most about bartending?
What do I like most? I think it's the people, and second to the people, it's the creativity. So the people being your team and the guests, and then second to that is the creative side.
Super. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.